You're welcome to today's discussion, which we are going to have on the economy and the second tenure of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. As you recall, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is now in his second year. The third year has started. And with me to discuss this is a former member of the House of Representatives, the Right Honorable Kehinde Odeneye, a member of the Public Accounts Committee, a chartered accountant, and now he's back to his profession as a big chartered accountant in Ogun State. Right Honorable, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Yes. Now, the question is, people are saying that, and the president admitted that people are hungry. Why should people be hungry at this time if the government is performing?
Yeah, that's a very good question. That's a very good question. For the president to have admitted that people are hungry is to show that the president appreciates the suffering of the people. He appreciates that, yes, things are tough with the Nigerians. He appreciates the fact that, yes, Nigerians need food on their tables. And that is also to confirm that the president is actually concerned about the quality of lives of Nigerians. The question is, why are Nigerians hungry? Nigerians are hungry not because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has not performed in these last 2 years. You know, we are quick in Nigeria. We are very quick to either condemn or praise. And most times we tend to forget about where we are coming from. We tend to forget the problems that we have faced over the years. We tend to also forget quickly that we were coming from a particular position and we are heading towards a particular position. If you look at the various things that interventions that federal government has put in place in these 2 years, there won't be any need. I mean, there's no reason for Nigerians to still be hungry. One, look at the budgetary allocation to agriculture. That is one. Look at the various interventions that government has also done, and in form of border opening, in form of importation of food items, and the amount that has been pumped into agriculture, and even the support that the federal government has provided to Nigerian farmers. But one thing about Nigeria is that anything that goes up does not come down. When prices go up, you realize that when prices go up in Nigeria, it becomes very difficult for those prices to come down. And so it may not necessarily be the problem of the federal government as a whole, but Nigerians also have contributed to it. Having said that, we all concentrate on the federal government. What about the state governments? What are they doing? Even with the increments in their monthly allocations, are they supporting the federal government in agricultural revolution in Nigeria? What are they doing to also make sure that as federal government is putting in the effort, are also putting in their effort? Look at former governor Bago, for instance, who happens to be a former member of the National Assembly. This is one governor that has really performed, and he is making National Assembly to be very proud. I am very proud of him because of the efforts he has put in agriculture. To the extent that even if Nigerians are saying we are hungry, are Niger people also hungry with the quality of agricultural revolution that is going on in Niger State? So if other governors are also doing the same thing, supporting the federal government with this revolution, I think with time, the issue of hunger will become something of the past. But even having said this, let us not be quick.
Honorable,
yes?
Honorable, let me ask you, the issue is this, that this president that you are defending, while he was in the opposition, kept talking to the federal government as if the state governments do not exist. So why should we be passing the buck to state governments now that he's on the saddle?
Let's get it this way. You said when he was in the opposition. I am not saying no opposition member should criticize President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The essence of opposition and the essence of criticism is to continually put the ruling party or the present government on its toes to perform more. We will always want you to do more and more and more and improve upon whatever you have met on ground. So criticism is part of democracy, which I think even the present government realize and appreciate. But let us face reality. We're talking about reality here now. We're talking about being realistic. We're talking about what is happening. We're talking about what should happen. And we're talking about what we are missing. And that is the issue. He might have he might have spoken about state governments then. But you realize that in those past times you are talking about, the state governments were continually relying on federal government. Even the amount they were getting then was not enough. And I think what he was saying then was that the state government needed to do more, that the state government needed to put in so much effort. They do not necessarily need to continuously rely on federal allocation, that they should learn how to generate more internal IGR. That was his criticism then. Not that he was saying that they should not do anything. But what I am saying here is that with the effort that the federal government has put in so far, and with the support he has also given to the state government, and with the increment they have gotten on their federal allocation, no state government has any excuse not to provide food and put food on the tables of their citizens in support of what the federal government has done and is doing.
The reality still is that even though you can reel off a lot of things that you said the government, that is your party, has done, the fact of the matter is that food is still not reaching the table. So what
It's a matter of time,
will
honorable.
you give to government that food will reach the tables of Nigerians?
Yes. The advice I will give to government is this: it is not just enough for the federal government to make allocations. It is not enough for federal government to open up the borders. It is not enough for the federal government to make import of possible. Where is the monitoring mechanism? And I think that is where the problem lies. You will realize that year in, year out, federal government give a lot of support, a lot of palliatives and lots of things to individuals and even state government and local governments. But the problem is that who monitors, who ensures that those things actually get into the correct hands and where they're supposed to be? We have seen in this country where federal government palliatives eventually get into individuals' hands, and those individuals open warehouses. The food that are supposed to be given to citizens are kept in warehouses. It is in this same country that at a point in time, people started looting government and individual warehouses, where foods that are meant for individuals in the country are kept in particular warehouses, individual warehouses, or where someone that has the opportunity of getting these palliatives into the country has to keep them somewhere. So I think what the government needs to do, as I said earlier, is not just enough that you have increased the allocations. It is not enough that you have opened up the borders. It is not enough that you have encouraged more importation of food, and it is not even enough that you are given encouragement to support to farmers. There must be a monitoring mechanism to ensure that you are actually giving support to farmers, real farmers, not just people that have pretended to be farmers, not just people that collected loans or government money and decided to use it for something else that is not supposed to be. It is not also enough that you are doing all this without that monitoring mechanism. So what I would advise the government to do is to ensure that there is enough monitoring, and there will be evaluation. When you put up a system, the system can only work when you see the results. And how do you see the results? You do continuous evaluation to ensure that those things are meeting up with the setup, with the parameters you have set up. Okay, fine, and you take them off. Where you need to improve on some things, you do. Where you need to cancel some things and replace, you do. That is the essence of that evaluation. You identify that this system we have put in place is actually working. Where it is not working, go back to the drawing table, and that is going to you can only get this through very good evaluation. Where you need to even employ evaluators that will come, professionals don't put everything in government's hands alone. There may be a need for you to employ professionals to monitor everything. Everything that you put in government's hands, there will always be one thing or the other. We have seen in this country where snakes swallow money. It happened in this country. So, but when you do palliatives and you give support, the best thing for you to do is to now evaluate, is the system working the way we want it to work? Fine. And you also now make sure that you monitor very effectively so that what you want is what you are getting. And you must also ensure accountability.
Now,
Very important.
let me ask you another question. You were talking about monitoring, and evaluation. But one of the policies that government has implemented that will appear to be having negative impact is this importation of food that appears to be discouraging people from farming. Farmers who went out to farm last year, farm maize, now being forced to sell their maize at prices that are lower than the price of production.
Yes. You see, the government intervention is not going to be a quick fix. It's not going to be a quick fix. I understand what you have just said. Yes, it is true that with importation, it may become a discouragement to the local farmers. I think what the government should do in that case is go back to those old days where we used to have commodity boards, where we used to have the commodity boards. What government should have done in that direction is to buy off from the farmers. So you will realize that in that case, in that situation, no farmer will incur any loss. And there will also be insurance. We have agri insurance in this country. We have a board for agri insurance in this country. And I think that insurance will not just be for the produce alone, it should also be for losses. So if government has not done well in that case, I think it is an advice from me to the government that let us bring back the commodity boards that will buy up the produce, store them somewhere, and make it available at cheaper rates and amount to the citizens. There is no country or in this world where we do not have subsidies. There is no country. In Lagos State, for instance, we have a food market. We have a food where government encourages people to come, give them space. They give them spaces to come and put there, and they have been told and directed to sell at cheaper rates. Although it might not be enough because of the large population, but that is the, and I know by the time they do the evaluation of that, they will see the reasons why they need to increase to create more additional centers in the state. And if this is successful, I think other states should follow suit.
So if you were to assess the economic activities of this government in the last 2 years, sincerely, what are you going to say?
Yes, if I'm to assess the economic situation in this country, sincerely, I will give kudos to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It is not because he's in my party, or it's not because he's from APC, but the issue is that something that has been destroyed, for instance, something that has been destroyed for and we are expecting a miracle within 2 years. You see, immediately he came in, he stopped subsidy. You are a member of National Assembly, you know precisely what was happening then with the issue of subsidy. That was a situation where we had a situation in our hand where very few people that were not even bringing anything into this country, and they were collecting money because of the loopholes that we have in our system. He came in, and when he stopped it, we expected that there will be a fight back. He stopped the issue of the multiple exchange rate system. He stopped it. We also expect that there will be back. And what he has been doing is taking it one after the other, one after the other. I do not blame Nigerians to demand for dividend of democracy as quick as possible, but we should also be a little bit patient. We have had governments in this country that spent 8 years and they were not able to fix Nigerians' problems as of immediate. But what I know is that given the 2 years period that this government has done, I feel that they still have enough time to do a lot and correct a lot. Let us be a little bit patient. The economic situation is improving. It has not improved, but it is improving. When you compare our situation with past years, we are improving. Meanwhile, you already know too. You know quite well. This is not news to you that we have been living fake lives in Nigeria. Do you know, can you recollect the amount of dollars that were used by the past governments, immediate past governments, to support the Naira exchange rates? That's something that is not describable. Because if we have not been touching or spending from our foreign reserves, that will have impacted the economy positively on our economy. But now we are just rebuilding again. In this same country we are talking about, in this same country, Nigeria, some governments in the past have spent over $16 billion. They have spent over $16 billion to give us light in this country, and we never had that light today. In the past years, government of your party, PDP, of all assets of Nigeria, they sold them off. So what I just want to say is that this government still have enough time to do a lot. It has started well. Yes, it is. No, it has brought a lot of pains to Nigeria, but the economy is gradually improving. The economy is gradually improving. We might have not gotten to where we are getting to, but I'm sure that before the end of 4 years, we will get there.
Okay, Honorable, I can see that.
So basically, let me add this for you. Basically, because you mentioned my party, basically what we are trying to do is to rebuild what your party destroyed. Let me just put that. We are rebuilding what your party destroyed. So give us some time. We will get there.
Fair enough. Let me ask you, are you now going to apologize to President Goodluck Jonathan that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and you were protesting against the removal of fuel subsidy, the very thing that you are now saying is an achievement to your government? Are you going to apologize to President Goodluck Jonathan for opposing the withdrawal of subsidy and leading demonstrations on the street against the withdrawal of fuel subsidy?
As at the time there was a protest for removal of subsidy by the government of former President Jonathan, it was not as if we were protesting that subsidy should not be removed then, but the problem then was that there was no plan in place. We felt that there was no plan in place to absorb. So I was saying that it was not as if we then that subsidy should be removed. But the question then was that, was there anything in place to really cater for people, to really take care of the suffering that will come with it? No, there was nothing in place. Were there discussions surrounding that removal? And so many things. You could look at it as being political, but there are so many things that resulted in the protest. And I think as at then, we also felt that President Jonathan did not have that presidential capacity to be able to do what he wanted to do, unlike what we have presently.
We've been speaking the last few minutes with the Right Honorable Odeneye, a chartered accountant based in Ogun State. Thank you, Honorable, for appearing on the show to Power. Thank you, Honorable, for joining us today.
Thank you very much. I have taken time to listen to your channel, to view your channel and watch, and I can see that you have not been biased at all. So let me give you that commendation and keep it up like that. Don't be too biased. Thank you very much.